Hi guys, this is Mike and you are going to learn how to solve the mirror cube. The mirror cube is the same thing as a Rubik's Cube, except that instead of colors it has different shaped pieces. Otherwise it's the exact same thing. This video requires that you already know how to solve the Rubik's Cube. That's the prerequisite. If you don't know how to solve the Rubik's Cube, go learn how and then come back. Why is this called the mirror cube, you might ask? I think it's because initially they all looked like this with these shiny stickers on them, but now some of them don't. I prefer stickerless cubes wherever I can, so I am going to solve it with this blue one. So first let's scramble it up, and be careful when you scramble these things to make sure that you're always twisting on a layer that is level. And one time I asked my mother-in-law to scramble this thing and she broke it. So yeah, be careful. Okay, this is all scrambled, so let's just jump right in here. On the Rubik's Cube, the first step would be to pick a color to start with. Most people pick white. Here, again, you want to pick a color to start with, I mean a center to start with, and I recommend picking the, how shall I put this, the center that's furthest away from the middle of the cube. And let's see, no, this step just comes from experience here. I don't think it's that. No, no, no. Yeah, this looks right here. The top of this edge piece is pretty far from the top of this center here. Just from experience, I'm quite sure that this is, like I said, the tallest center. So let's look for a tall edge piece to put up next to it. I don't see any on the top here, so let's look on the bottom. I think this one looks pretty tall here, so let's move it to the bottom and then rotate it around the bottom to see if it's flush with anything. No, no. Yes, this is flush with this one here. So let's rotate it to the top, and it is flush with the top. So it's flush with the front, flush with the top. So this one is right. Our first piece is correct. Okay, let's look for another tall edge. I don't see any tall ones on the bottom. This one here looks pretty tall, but it's obviously not up and down. So let's bring it to the bottom so that it's up and down on the bottom level. Okay, now we have it on the bottom. Now we can freely move it around the bottom to look for a center that it's flush with. So it's flush with this one. See? That would, in Rubik's Cube equivalent, that would mean it's the same color. And then rotate it to the top. Check to make sure it's flush here. It is. So flush, flush. So that edge is in the right piece. Conveniently, this looks like a tall one. It's already flush with this center. Let's rotate it to the top, and it's flush with the top. So that is 3 down, 1 to go. Let's look for the final tall edge piece. I think it's this one here that's already in the correct position, but it's not oriented correctly. So let's bring it down to the bottom to fix it. And I want it to be the tall way up and down, so I'm going to do this. Rotate it this way, so it's tall on the bottom layer, rotate it out of the way, and then fix this right side. So let's make sure that I've maintained this. Yeah, those three are right. This is conveniently in the right position and flush, so I just need to move that 180 degrees to the top. So now I have the equivalent of the white cross done, because you can see this is all flush and all these edge pieces are flush with their corresponding centers. So again, flush means that the colors match. So that is step one done. One, two, three. Moving right along here, let's do the bottom centers. You might be asking me, Mike, don't you want to do it at the same time as the middle edges? I find it difficult to do with the mirror cube because there's less visual aids to it. So yeah, let's look for a tall corner. This looks like a tall corner right here. This is the biggest one. So let's look for the biggest space down here. That's right here. So put it above it. And then let's see if we're going to move it this way. No. This way, yes. So that's flush, so that means it's going to go down into that position. So if you want to do that, I'm going to move it this way and then do the following. Left prime, upper prime, left. And there we go. Flush, flush, flush. That corner piece is correct. All right, here's another tall corner piece, the second biggest one. It is already above where it needs to go. See, like that? So, yeah, so let's do that same algorithm again. Left prime, up prime, left. And there we go, another corner piece done. 2 down, 2 to go. Let's look for another tall one. This one looks tall. It looks like it fits into this space here, yes. So we do a right, upper, right prime. And there we go. That one is in the correct position and oriented correctly. 3 down, 1 to go. And this corner piece looks tall, so bring it above where it needs to go. Only one place left. Make sure it fits, yes. So again, do right, upper, right prime. And there we go. Our whole bottom layer is done. Everything is nice and flush. The next step is to solve the middle layer. So to do that, let's look for any pieces that are already flush on the top with the center. So this is flush, and it's not flush here with the top piece. So that means it's either going to go here or here. Let's check this way. No, that's not flush. So move it back to the top and try it the other way on the right. Yes, this is flush. So I know I need to bring it down here. So we need to move it here to the right. Because it's on the right, we do the following algorithm. Upper, right, upper prime, right prime, upper prime, front prime, up, front. And there we go. It is in the right position. 1 down, 3 to go. Okay, let's look for another one that's flush here. That's good. It's not flush with the top. That's good because it means it must go on one side or the other. It obviously doesn't go there, so it must go here. Again, on the right side. So let's do that same algorithm again. Upper, right, upper prime, right prime, upper prime, front prime, up, front. And there we go. It's correct. 2 down, 2 to go. Okay, let's look for another situation where a top piece is flush with the center piece, and there's none. So let's rotate the top and check again. Yes, now this top piece is flush with that one. It's not flush here. This piece is already correct, so it must go there. Since we want to move this to the left, we do this algorithm. Up prime, up, left, up, front, upper prime, left prime. And there we go, that's correct. 3 down, 1 to go. Okay, that's not flush. That's not flush. This is flush, and it's not flush with the top, so that means it must go to the right. So let's do the same algorithm that I just showed you. Upper, right, up prime, up prime, up, front. And there we go. Our whole middle layer is done, as evidenced by the fact that everything is flush on these bottom 2 layers. Are you ready to do the top? The first step of the last step is to orient the top edges. Again, if pieces are flush with each other, that means that they're the same color on that side. And as you would know from the Rubik's Cube, when it comes to this step, either none are right, 2 are right, or 4 are right. So in this situation, 2 are right. They are on the left and the right. So when the 2 correct ones are opposite each other, you put them on the left and the right and do the following. Front, right, up, right prime, up prime, front prime. And now they're all correct. Had the 2 correct ones been adjacent to each other, we would have done that same thing, but putting the correct ones on the front and the right. That would have, after that same algorithm, we then would have had the situation that we started with, where the correct ones are on the right and the left, and then you would do that algorithm again. Okay, the next step is to position the top corners. And again, it's always either that 0, 2, or 4 are right, and usually it's 2. If they are adjacent, I can see this one is correct because it's flush, and that one's correct because it's flush. So when the 2 correct ones are adjacent, put these correct ones on the left and the back, and then do this. Right, up 2, right prime, right, up prime, right prime. And then adjust your top layer here, and I can see that all the edges are done because it's flush, 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 flush. Now, had we had the situation where the 2 correctly positioned ones were opposite each other, then you would have put them on the left and the right and done that algorithm I just said. That would have caused them to, the correct ones, to be adjacent, and then you would do that algorithm again. So you either have to do it 0 times, once, or twice. Okay, I think we're ready to go on to the corners. Okay, we are ready to go on to solving the top corners. The first step in that step is to position them correctly. Much of the time, one of them will already be right, as is the case here. So this is obviously too small for that, that's obviously too big for that space, and this is too small for that space. So in the frequent situation where one of them is right, and it's just coincidental that it's also oriented right, you do the following. Upper, right, upper prime, left prime, up, right prime, upper prime, left. And that will have rotated these 3. And sometimes you have to do it once, sometimes twice. So that looks like it fits here. It looks just oriented wrong. That looks like it fits, and that looks like it fits. So, yeah, that worked. Sometimes it happens where none of them are in the right place, in which case just do that same algorithm starting with any position on top. So now we're ready to go on to the final step. Okay, here is the final step of the final step, which is orienting these top corners. Now, what we do is what was formerly the top layer now becomes the left layer. And we want to put any corner piece that's not oriented right in the top left. And once you pick a piece, make sure that whatever centerpiece is facing you stays that way. If you start moving the cube around, you're going to mess everything up. So then you're going to do the following algorithm until this corner piece is right. Right prime, upper prime, right, right, up, nope. Right prime, upper prime, right, up. Yes, that's right. So we are going to rotate this left side until another wrong piece is in the upper left. So that's obviously wrong. And then we just repeat. Right prime, upper prime, right, up, wrong. Right prime, upper prime, right, up. That's right. So let's move another incorrect one to this top left position here, and you don't freak out if you see that this looks like a total mess, which it does. But everything will right itself in the end if you do this correctly. So yeah, resuming, right prime, upper prime, right, up, nope, right prime, upper prime, right, up, yes. So we can see this whole side is flush. That means the only thing left to do is to rotate it until it's flush with the rest of the cube. And there we go. It's flush. That means that the whole mirror cube is done. So yeah, once you know how to solve the Rubik's Cube, the mirror cube should really come quite easy. It's just a matter of getting over that mental hurdle that you're not dealing with colors anymore, but you're dealing with shapes, pieces of different shapes. And the more you do it, the more you will be familiar with the size of every single piece and just kind of instinctively know where to put it. So don't feel badly if it takes longer your first time. It certainly took me much longer than that to solve it my first time. And I think there's nothing else to say. So thanks guys, and this video was brought to you by my website wizardofodds.com, which is all about the mathematics of casino gambling. Thanks. See you in the next video. Bye.